Hey everyone, I'm Pion and welcome to my preview of Abandoned Ship. So this game is about ship combat and exploration, and it's supposed to enter Steam Early Access in early 2018. It is an early version and it's called the combat demo because it only shows the combat part of the game, so I don't know how the exploration works yet, but this is the combat and it's kind of interesting. It's similar to FTL. You have real-time tactics with free pause, and you have 1v1 battles, at least that's what I got so far, and you also have ships, not spaceships, but ships nonetheless. So the game is definitely, it's not similar to FTL, but it's the same genre, I would say. So this is our ship, that's the opponent's ship. This is my crew of 6 crew members. As you can see here, they all have different stats. They have 4 stats, well, they have 5 stats, but one stat is only available to the medic. So the crew member stats are navigating, reloading, repairing, and fighting. That's the captain. He has a pretty average stats and everything. As you can see, I renamed him to Pion. You can rename all the crew members, so that's kind of funny if you're into that kind of thing. Then we have like a few others. This one is good at reloading, this one is good at repairing, this one's good at navigating, and those two are 2 special crew members I just hired when I was in port a few moments ago, and they have pretty high stats. As you can see here, he's really good at reloading and he's pretty decent at multiple things and excels at fighting apparently. So that's cool. So those are different sections on the ship. You can see the helm here, 4 cannon sections, then the mast section, and the sick bay. The sick bay allows to heal crew members if they get hurt and you don't have a medic. And this is the opponent's ship and the opponent's sections, and the sections can get damaged, which will first decrease their effectiveness and then make them stop working completely. So yeah, you can repair them obviously, but that will take a crew member to do so. And you have other things to do for your crew members. So first things first, let's reassign our crew members because they're not in their optimal positions. So the captain will actually go to the cannon because we have a navigator who is supposed to handle the helm. And we're actually gonna just put anyone on the cannons because that's how I roll. Actually, you go to this cannon. This guy doesn't need much help. Like, he has 4 reloading. He's really quick at reloading those cannons. So you can see I have 5 cannons. I upgraded the cannons on this side. So I'm a little weaker on this side of the ship, but as long as we don't have a reason to turn around, that's not a problem because, yeah, well, we're only shooting with this side, obviously, for the moment. So let's reassign the crew members. And he's not assigned to the cannons for some reason. There we go. And then there's a neat feature here. I'd say it's called save the position of your crew. You can press that, and the next time you press this button, wherever your crew members are, they will go back to this default position. So that's cool. That's a good mechanic. Let's unpause and let's tell the cannons to. Oh wait. Let's pause again. Let's tell the cannons to focus the enemy ship. So the enemy is moving away. You can see that on the little arrow here, and as you could see, he was moving away as well. So let's change that because I actually want to get close to him. Because I want to ram him. My preferred strategy in this game so far is get close to the enemy, shoot them, and ram them. We might actually have to reassign. So he's trying to stay his distance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reassign the guy with the reloading speed to this cannon, which is the, I think, chain shot it's called. It doesn't show the weapon name here. Wait, it usually shows the weapon name here for some. Maybe if I deselect the crew member. There we go. It's the chain shot. It only targets the sails, which will deal a lot of damage to the mast section, which will make them slower or make them stop moving, and that allows me to get closer and ram them. So that's a great strategy. So far that worked pretty well. So let's reassign the crew members a little bit. That's 3 reload, and then we have 2 and 4 reload. That's balanced. I'm trying to balance the reload speed on the cannons, and now I'm gonna try to target the sails. I have to. Yeah, that's a little weird. The weapons work differently. So the cannons will not have to be re-aimed, and I can just tell them the target. Wow, that was lightning. Let's talk about the weapons first, though, before we get interrupted. So the cannons will just shoot at the ship over and over again until I tell them to stop. But the chain shot and the grape shot over here will have to be re-aimed every time they're fully charged, which is a little bit annoying. Especially for, like, it makes sense for the grape shot because you actually target an area of the ship, but for the chain shot that is not necessarily, because it will just target the sails, whatever, so that doesn't really matter. So in this battle we have a thunderstorm going on. I never had that before, but the game told me what it does. If we get struck by lightning, the ship gets on fire and we have to put out the fire. So who's our best repair guy? Doesn't really matter, most of them have 2, so let's just take the captain and tell him to stop the fire, please. Okay, while the chain gun finished loading, so we target the sails. And now if you take a look at the section over here, damn, that was a lot of damage. Now they're slower than we are, so we can close in, which will allow us to ram eventually. We're gonna shoot another chain shot at the sails, though. Let's reassign the captain to the cannons. Let's shoot the sails again, it should destroy them completely. So we get this guy back here and tell the captain to go to these cannons. Oh, I pulled him off too quickly. He was not shooting yet. So now we can pull him over here. There we go. That should destroy, hopefully, the sails. Perfect. Or the mast. Well, no, it destroys the sails, but it destroys the mast section. And now there's another mechanic. You might have noticed this bar down here. This is the maneuvering bar. As soon as it fills up, so now we can use a maneuver. Right now we have 3 maneuvers. We can only use 2 of them though. This is flee. If we're at max range, we can flee the battle. Then this is turn around, which turns the ship around, which allows us to fire with cannons on the other side. And then we have ram, which allows us to ram, which I'm going to do now. So let's press the ram button. And now we're about to ram. Now this button highlights up, and this is a weird mechanic. This is the brace for impact mechanic. I have to press this button in time. However, this game has free pause, so it's kind of hard to miss, especially if you're the one ramming. If the opponent is ramming, I guess you can be surprised by it. But for me, it's really easy to click this button now while the game is paused. It doesn't really gel with the rest of mechanics. Maybe the developer can come up with something more fitting to the rest of the game. But yeah, if you don't press it, crew members might stumble, fall to the ground, or even fall into the water. Which might happen to the enemies if they don't brace. Let's see. They're pretty busy. I don't think they brace. Oh, they're braced. Okay, never mind. So nothing bad happened to them. Besides a lot of hull damage. And when I say a lot of hull damage, I mean a lot of hull damage because, ramming deals tons of damage. So let's get back to... Actually, I don't care what distance we go. We just send anyone to the cannons now and shoot them to death. We could board them now if we wanted to, but... not necessary, as you can see here. So the ship just got destroyed and is gonna sink now, and it's going down in a rather spectacular animation. And there we go, victory. I didn't even took any hull damage, or almost none. So that's good. Cool. So now we can either go to the next battle. I'm not going to do that now, or you can go to the port. So in this combat demo, you have a limited amount of times you can go to the port. It's a little bit simplistic. Basically, you have like a little roguelite where you face tougher and tougher battles in a row, and you can go to port 5 times at max. And oh, actually, there are only 10 battles in total. Huh, okay, good to know. I didn't know that. Let's go to port to just show you what you can do there. So in port, you can either go to the tavern to hire crew members or visit the local shops to repair and upgrade your ship. So let's go there. So we took 1% of damage apparently, so we can heal that for 1 gold. That's good. Let's do that. Oh yeah, all the other damage and to crew members and sections will be repaired automatically after combat in this combat demo. I'm not sure if that's gonna be the same way in the full game, but it makes sense in this demo because if not, you would try to extend the battle while repairing your ship, which would be a very annoying mechanic. So I guess that's why the developer chose the auto repair. So now we could buy new weapons. There's the flamethrower here. Didn't saw that before. That sounds awesome. The shorter the range on this cannon, the better it is at starting fires. Awesome. Maximum range close. Causes minor hull damage, section and crew damage. Or minor hull section and crew damage, but can start fire. And at boarding range, causes no damage, but is guaranteed to start fires. Oh, that's nasty. Okay, I like that. It's not dealing crew damage on boarding range though. That's weird. That's really strange. Well, whatever. I guess it's a balancing reason. The round shot, popular cannon. Oh yeah, that's a regular cannon. So we could put another cannon here. Or is that a different cannon? We have the round shot here, right? Yeah. Okay. So we could replace one of our round shots with a round shot. That doesn't make much sense. Oh, we could replace it with... Oh, those are all regular cannon slots, though. I didn't realize. So as you can see, there are different slots. Like the 2 artillery slots, and there's a front and a back slot. There, I just forgot the regular terms for it. Like if you're into sailing, there are special terms for that. I don't know them in English, I think. Whatever. Anyway, there's a front and a back slot for different weapons and 2 artillery slots and 4 cannon slots. I imagine there will be different ship layouts in the full game, but right now we only have this one. Those are all for the regular slots, but there's a mortar for the artillery slot. We have the chain and the grape shot here, but they are different. There's a sniper gun and things like that. And as you can see here, we can replace our regular cannons as well with the flamethrower or with a double shot. Short range cannon that fires double the projectiles. Woo! Sweet. High hull and section damage, small damage to crew. and the lobber. This cannon is more powerful the further the distance it is fired. Low hull and section damage at closer range, high damage at mid-range, very high damage at far range. So you can see kind of different strategies here. You can go for a close-up boarding or close-up ramming strategy, or you can try to get, just keep your distance. You can try to sink the enemy ship. You can try to kill all the crew members by either boarding them or just shooting them with the sniper or whatever, or the grape shot and things like that. So you have kind of different strategies, and that's kind of interesting. There are also upgrades. You can either you can change the number of cannons for your regular cannons, but you can also upgrade the different sections, which will make them more effective. Or you can buy those special upgrades like heavy hull armor. I think I have hull armor already in place. I don't. I think I have. Yeah, I have it in place already. Yeah, I have the hull armor in place, regular hull armor. So I could upgrade to heavy hull armor, which makes sense in this combat demo because the only permanent thing is the hull damage. So reducing that seems like a good strategy for the most part. Then again, there are only 10 battles. Maybe it's not that important. This all, however, is really awesome for my current strategy. Heavy hull spikes, increasing the damage when you ram. That's amazing. I want that. We could get a lifeboat. Crew can flee to lifeboat when ship is destroyed. I guess that's not important for the combat demo whatsoever. Yeah, your ship can sink as well. We didn't saw that in the battle I showed you, but basically you can get leaks, and then your water ball will fill up, and you have to close the leaks, and you can pump out the water with a pump. And if you don't do that, well, your ship will sink. So there are I think there are 3 defeat conditions for you or the enemy. That is, so defeat or victory conditions: kill or lose all the crew, sink the ship, or fill it with water, which will sink it as well, I guess. So destroy the ship or sink the ship, I guess, are the 2 different conditions here. And that allows for different strategies, as I just mentioned, and that's kind of interesting. I'm not sure what this button will do in the full game, and I'm interested in the exploration part of the game as well, but didn't saw that yet. In the tutorial of this demo, which I'm not allowed to show you because of embargo reasons, you see a little bit of the story as well. I'm not allowed to tell you about it, but it look kind of interesting. So there's a story going on which will drive you through the main game, I guess, which with the exploration, and then you will encounter combat encounter. You encounter combat encounter as well. That's a good sentence. Anyway, you encounter enemies between the exploration parts, and then you can go to ports to do what we're doing here and stuff like that. There will also be sea monsters you can fight instead of ships, so that's pretty cool. I wonder how those will play out. And some of the enemies have those swimming fighters, so they jump into the water and then go on board then they board your ship, and you have to fight them off, which is interesting. I never had enemies actually boarding me except for those swimmers, and those were only one, which I could easily defeat. So that was not a big challenge yet, but maybe that comes in later fights. Definitely a possibility here for the enemy to board you, and depending on your strategy, you might want to avoid that. So you can see it's definitely an interesting game. The biggest concern I have right now is that the combat, there's not enough to do in combat right now, but maybe that changes later on in the game. But for the first few battles, it's not that in-depth, or not in-depth is maybe the wrong word, but there's not much to do. It's just not hectic enough. Sometimes you have to repair something, and sometimes you have to put out a fire, but for the most part, you're sitting there waiting for your weapons to reload, especially in the first few fights where you don't have a lot of options yet. So that's my biggest concern I have right now. If you compare to FTL, there's just way more stuff going on, and it's much more hectic, even besides the free pause. This is really weird in FTL. The game manages to create this feel of panic and makes it hectic, even though the game is pausable at any time, which is a little weird. And this game doesn't manage to get that feeling just right yet, but maybe that will change later on. So I have hopes for it, but right now it's not quite there yet. So it's still interesting. It has a lot of potential. This is the crew hiring part of the game, by the way, if you didn't realize that yet. You can hire different crew members. You have a maximum of crew members. I imagine that depends on your ship, but I don't know, it might be a hard cap at 6 as well, so you could replace them if you wanted to. But not gonna do that right now. So anyway, yeah, it has potential. It looks interesting. As I said, it's gonna enter Steam Early Access in early 2018. It's called Abandoned Ship. A link is in the description below. I'm TH Pion. Thanks a lot for watching. Have fun and see you next time.